Before you put on that fake mustache and go to church, you better not be in Alabama, because that could send you to jail. Trust me, wear a fake beard instead. BrainBall presents 8 laughable laws from around the world. In the French town of Saint-Laurent, it's illegal to die without a pre-arranged burial plot. This law was enacted in 2008 to prevent the town's small cemetery from becoming overcrowded. Similarly, in France, it's illegal to kiss on railway platforms. And in some parts of the country, it's illegal to wear shorts in public. And I have such sexy calves. But we aren't here to pick on France, are we? Let's take a look at some of the most obscure laws in different parts of the world. These laws might sound completely ridiculous, but they are still on the books. First up, let's take a trip to Thailand, where it's illegal to leave your house without wearing underwear. This law dates back to the 1960s, when the Thai government was trying to promote decency among its citizens. The law is rarely enforced, but it's still technically on the books. So check your luggage and make sure you've packed enough clean undies. Clicking the like and subscribe button isn't a crime, but it probably should be. Your sentence? Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Next up, let's head to Italy, where it's still illegal to pick daffodils. That's right, daffodils are considered a protected species in Italy. The law was put in place to help preserve Italy's natural beauty and prevent overpicking of the country's wildflowers. Now, let's move on to the United Kingdom, where it's illegal to handle salmon in suspicious circumstances. This law dates back to the Salmon Act of 1986, which made it an offence to buy, sell, handle, or possess any salmon illegally. The law was meant to crack down on the illegal fishing and sale of salmon, which was apparently a thing. So if you're planning an Ocean's 11-style salmon heist in the UK, you might want to think twice. Let's travel to Singapore next, where it's illegal to chew gum or sell it without a prescription. This law was put in place in 1992 as part of the government's efforts to keep the country's streets clean and tidy. The ban on chewing gum was lifted in 2004, but it's still highly regulated, and you can only buy it from a licensed pharmacist. Trust me when I tell you Singapore is one place you don't want to break any laws, accidentally or otherwise. Let's head to the southern United States, where it's illegal to wear a face mustache in a church that causes laughter. Yes, you heard that right. This Alabama law dates back to the 19th century, and was put in place to prevent people from disrupting church services with their silly antics. The law is still on the books, but it's rarely enforced these days. Still, if you're in Alabama and you're tempted to wear a fake mustache to church, make sure to choose your least hilarious option. Now for a bit of useless trivia. It's a common myth that it's illegal to name your pig Napoleon in France, but this law doesn't actually exist. The stories behind the myth go back to the 19th century, when Napoleon Bonaparte was Emperor of France. Whatever the origin, it's perfectly legal to name your pig Napoleon in France. So, name away. We're hopping back across the pond to the UK for another bizarre law specifying where a person dies. Yes, it's illegal to die in the Houses of Parliament. This law dates back to the 14th century, when it was determined that anyone who died in the Houses of Parliament was entitled to a state funeral. This proved to be both costly and time-consuming. The law is still in effect today, but it's mostly seen as a quirky relic of the past. Next up, let's travel to Gainesville, Georgia, where it's illegal to eat fried chicken with a knife and fork. This law was put in place in the 1960s as a way to celebrate the city's culinary heritage and promote the traditional way of eating fried chicken with your hands. This won't get you arrested in 2023, but it still exists mostly as a fun local tradition rather than a serious legal restriction. If you ask me, if you eat fried chicken with a knife and fork, you probably deserve jail. Our last bizarre law takes us to Petrolia, Ontario, where it's illegal to whistle. Yes, whistling is considered a nuisance in this small Canadian town, and it's against the law to do it in public. The law was enacted in the 1800s as a way to prevent steamboat captains from communicating with each other using coded whistles. If this reminds you of the plot of the Kevin Bacon movie Footloose, it shouldn't. because that movie was about dancing. Also, it wasn't real. Anyway, Petrolia is the one place in the world where whistling while you work could theoretically work you into a fine. Those were 8 bizarre laws still on the books across the world. While some of these laws might seem completely ridiculous, they often have interesting historical and cultural origins that are worth exploring. Were there any strange laws we missed? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, check out the next one about the notorious White Star shipping line and the curse that some say doomed the Titanic. Did a hex on this British shipping company somehow lead America into World War I, 5 years after the legendary liner sank in 1912? Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Thanks for watching BrainBall. See you next time.